like button.
Right. Okay. Hey guys. So today I wanted to do something special with my friend Nancy. So Nancy and I met, oh Nancy, how long ago did we meet? It was just a few months ago.
I actually think I met you a number of years ago because I remember hearing your story at an eWomen Network event. I think it must have been, I don't know how many years ago. And then we reconnected. I don't remember. It was just a couple of months ago. And I just was so compelled by your story that I had to interview you for my YouTube channel and I had to promote your 5-day challenge to my whole community. And I just wanted to lend as much support to you as possible because I think you're really awesome and up to really big things.
Oh, well, thank you. And I feel the same way about you. And if it was eWomen, oh my God, that would be probably at least 8 or 9 years ago when we would have met then. So that's a very long time ago.
Well, and you know what? I collect jewels. I collect jewels in the crown wherever I go.
That's awesome. Okay, so the reason I wanted to introduce Nancy to my group is because I just believe she's a beautiful soul and she does some amazing work. And me being an author and a speaker and a coach, I know how important it is to do some of the work that Nancy does. And so I'm a big believer that if I can't do it, I would rather hire an expert to do it. And so people have asked me many times, how do you write a compelling bio? Right. And so that was one of the reasons, Nancy, that I got you involved in my last 4-day challenge in January is because people ask me that all the time. I need to write a bio for, my book. I need to write a book description. And yet they don't know how to do it. And I know I'm not the best person to teach it. So I'd rather them learn from you. So, that's why I brought you on board because you're the expert in that. And I love the work you do. So I want to welcome you, Nancy.
Well, thank you. And you know, what a fun time it was to teach during your most recent event because it was such an engaged audience and everyone that attended my session really enjoyed it. I remember asking on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being awesome and 1, I'd rather be in Philadelphia. How did I do? And people gave me a 10 with multiple explanation points. So that lets me know that I'm delivering the value and making the difference.
Exactly. And it's also because you're teaching stuff that nobody else teaches.
Thank
So,
you. Well, you know what I did in 2020, which was kind of interesting, is, I wrote the very first edition of Bye Bye Boring Bio in 2009 in the aftermath of the Great Recession. And when COVID-19 happened in 2021 or 2020, I said to myself, I am not going to let another natural disaster take me out. And so what I did is I revisited the book that I'd written many years ago, and I looked at it through fresh eyes. And I asked myself, is this the book that I'm the most proud of, or could I refresh it and update it to be even more relevant and of service in this virtual world where we all find ourselves? And there was no decision. It was, I have to completely overhaul this book and make it better than ever. And so now the Bye Bye Boring Bio 2020 workbook not only is about how to write bios for every situation, speaking, virtual speaking, podcast guesting, the back of your book, the front of your book, your Amazon profile, but there's a whole new section about how to make the most of podcast guesting and virtual speaking so that you can sell more books, sell more programs, make a bigger difference, and be prepared for opportunities that are beyond your expectations. And so the book is incredibly relevant and timely as we are all working from home. And the other thing that I know for sure, and I'm sure you can speak to this, is that one of the things that people have been doing during the shutdown is writing books.
exactly. And getting on virtual stages.
And if you're writing books, you should be thinking, let's start with the end in mind. I'm not just writing a book to get this done, get it off my bucket list. I'm writing a book that's going to change lives. It's going to shift perspectives. It's going to make a difference. And that's also going to make money. And so to the extent that you can begin with the end in mind, how can you write that book so that when people put it in their shopping cart, not only are they going to love the book, but they're going to want to take that next step with you, which is to enroll in your higher end program or whatever it is that you have down the line.
Yeah, so totally true, Nancy. And here's the other thing. A lot of times, since we can't meet people in person, a lot of times they're meeting us through our bio. And so if you have a boring bio, they're going to say, nah, pass on that. I'm going to go to the next person that's got a really exciting bio, right? And
Or
that's
something that tells a story. And I mean, the one that you have, oh my gosh. It's I just so this just happened about a week ago. I gave a talk for a group of movers and shakers at a nonprofit, and it was all about how to transform your boring bio from wallpaper to wow to attract clients now. Yeah. And the CEO was brave and allowed me to take her bio and make it better. And so it turned out that there was this mover and shaker on the call who was so impressed that he reached out to me and he said, I am taking my company from zero to hero so that I can exit in 3 years with a really big payoff. I need you to help me make my bio brilliant. And he hired me. And just last week, he said, I have goosebumps. It's pure wow. I can't believe what you were able to do with the interview that you conducted to turn this into something so amazing. I never could have created this on my own. And I think that after doing this for 10 years or so, I've seen and heard it all and have laser focus to help people get to the magic that is their message that maybe they can't find because they're feeling too self-conscious, or they don't want to be braggadocious, or they've got all their demons that are preventing them from standing in and on their true value. I mean, you've probably heard it all before with the conversations you've had with your clients, but it's really rewarding when I can work with people to help create that pure wow, goosebump reaction. But in the most recent years, I've actually been guiding groups of people to accomplish these outcomes by enrolling them into my programs and actually action coaching with multiple people all at the same time. And it's like being in a kid in the candy store, because I can go, okay, you're next. Okay, you're next. Okay, what are we going to do for you? And when you get everybody feeling that great, it's more than just being one-on-one with someone and agreeing that something good just happened. But when you have the reaction of an intimate group of other people saying, oh my God, that was fantastic. No wonder you're getting booked on podcasts. No wonder you're getting booked to speak. No wonder. It buoys your confidence so that you can step out from your comfortable shell and actually be that thing that you dream about when nobody else is watching.
Yeah, totally agree. And again, people are judging you by your bio. And you might be a great, fantastic person, but the reason you feel like you can't write your bio is because you don't want to brag about yourself. And I know that when people read my bio, I'm like, oh my God, like I sound like this major superstar, but then I want to be like, no, that's not really me, right? I'm still Kelly, right? I'm still my humble Kelly that, just wanted to get my message out there in a big world, and I don't want you to think that I'm all that.
Right? Well, I have heard that so many times over the last 10 years. And I think it was Richard Bach that said, we can argue for our limitation. If you argue for your limitations, you get to keep them. Mm-hmm. And so I always say, it's not that you're being braggadocious about having a video that's been viewed over 1 million times or how many?
Almost 10 million.
Okay, almost 10 million times. Okay, well, I don't know very many people who can say that. It isn't being braggadocious, it's being matter of fact. But, if you are a meeting planner, if you are a decision maker who's making decisions about who's going to get to take the stage at your summit, if you are someone who is a producer at a television program and you're trying to decide who's going to be leading the show at the 7:00 hour, people want, these kinds of decision makers want you to bottom line the bounty that you have to bring to the program. And to the extent that you can create 50 words or 100 words that gets to the meat of that matter in a way that has some wow factor, you will always be well served. You will always be well served, and you should own it. And it is an act of service to others, because you in particular have such a powerful story. if you've been in front of 10 million people, you can carry a conversation, you can master a soundbite, you can show up on camera. That gives the people who are making decisions confidence that they're making a good choice, versus if you say, I'm just hanging out my shingle this month because I started my business and my job was outsourced and I'd like you to give me a chance. I mean, no, there's no comparison.
Exactly. I actually use my bio as a way to segue to saying, like when I speak and people say my bio and how incredible it is, then I say, yeah, but my life wasn't always that way. And then it helped me to go into that story of, what I lived through and what I've been through. And then I can build it back up. So I use my advantage.
Well, I really think that we all have a story like that. And I think that to the extent that we can get present to it, I mean, my own story, what would be the one to be most relevant here? I mean, there's so many things I could say, but I used to own a public relations agency where I would book people on television, radio, and print and make them famous. And in the Great Recession, the whole thing fell apart almost in a weekend because my clients were holding on for dear life to save themselves, and they didn't want to fulfill their public relations contracts. Well, that was pretty bitter for me because my husband and I just bought a new home. We couldn't sell the home we left. We didn't have any rich relatives. And the prospect of having to put the new house on the market weeks after we moved in just wasn't something I could deal with. I thought the fear of embarrassment in front of all my neighbors, it just caused me to find a whole new gear. And so what did I do? A friend dared me to write a book on making bios better. And I didn't have anything better to do. So I wrote this book in 3 weeks. I put it out to my newsletter list at the time of 1,085 names. And what do you know? When I came back from my walk with the dog, there was enough money in my shopping cart to pay the mortgage.
Wow.
And I thought, holy cow, or praise the Lord, or whatever you want to say. It was like, oh my God, this is a gift. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And it was like that dare from that friend caused me to create something new that solved an urgent problem that needed relief. And people were willing to invest to get the solution. And it saved my bacon at the exact time I needed to bring it home.
I love that story. I just love it. Because a lot of times people say, oh, there's no money in books. And yet your book has really been a starting point to so much more. And that's something that I always say when I coach people is your book is just your starting point. What you do with it afterwards is totally up to you. And so, you did that book in, 2009, you said?
Yeah. And then I did an update. This was the thing. It was like a 47-page, I don't know, it was very modest. And then I thought I could do better. So in 2010, I added 100 pages of examples.
Yeah.
I built out some systems to make it easier for people to do it. And then in 2020, I did it again. And here's what's important about the workbook for today is that, it was almost a year ago that all the live stages just went silent. We're dealing with a worldwide pandemic. We're not going to live events. We're not speaking up on stages. You're a professional speaker. Did you find that your professional speaking calendar sort of kind of collapsed?
I lost it. I lost all of it. I lost it. And yeah, I didn't have a lot, but I lost them. And
so all of us speakers and trainers, like you're either sitting on your hands and pouting, or you're rolling up your sleeves and saying, what can I do? What can I do? So here's another story, overcoming great odds to achieve great things. We're not speaking. What are we going to do? So I believe, and all of your authors too, if you're not speaking, you're missing out on a huge opportunity. If you can't get on a stage, well, you can certainly get on a virtual platform like we're doing right now. So you, the royal you can speak to your own tribe in your Facebook group. You can speak on the tribes of others as we're doing now, and you can get invited to speak on podcasts that are right for your message. none of these things require you to even put on pants if you don't want to. You can do it from your home with a microphone and a headset, and you can broadcast your brilliance around the world. And if you share your message in a compelling way, and you have a way to ping pong people back into your world so that they can learn more, you are that much closer to being able to monetize those appearances so that you can smile all the way to the bank, which means that authors need to have a way to ping pong people back into their world. So do you have an irresistible free gift that you can offer when the person says, tell me, Kelly, where can our people get in touch with you to find out more about you? Do you have that call to action and say, come on and join my Facebook group, or download my Are You Ready to Be an Author Now report, or give me a call at 1-800-CALL-KELLY. But you need to have a way to get them ping-ponging back to you so that you can get on the phone, nurture the conversation, nurture the relationship, and turn it into one that is fruitful for everyone.
Exactly. And, it's one of the things that I'm loving about the whole virtual thing is that, like, one day I did two podcasts in one day, and that was beautiful, because if I would have had to travel to the event, I never would have been able to do both events. So it's so cool that we can do that.
Well, and here's the other cool thing that I have noticed, because as I was saying, right around March 1st, we're either sitting on our hands or rolling up our sleeves. And I mentioned that I was a publicist for a good long time. I know how to pitch. I know how to make an approach. I know how to get myself booked. I know how to get other people booked. I thought, how can I get myself booked? So I think I've booked myself on 60 or more podcasts in a year. Yeah. And I have proven systems and methods that I follow to make this systematic and productive. And now what I love to do is teach people how they can do that too. But the point I wanted to make is, in the beginning, when it's all so new, you're thinking, oh, I don't have a Media One sheet, and I haven't figured out my interview questions, and I'm not exactly sure what shows that I should pitch, and I've got more questions than answers, and so I'm going to do more of that sitting on my hands. But what I decided is that I wasn't going to let that happen, and so I started pushing things up the hill. And then what I noticed, and this is the coolest part, is that when you get on a show or an interview or a conversation and you get to show up as yourself and deliver your message in only the way that you can, other people are listening. Mm-hmm. And those people have Facebook groups. Those people lead masterminds. Those people have podcasts of their own. There are 1.8 million podcasts on the air. Many of the hosts love to interview guests, and they're looking potentially for guests just like you. So when they hear you, what do you know? When the podcast goes live, you start getting inquiries. I heard you on Kelly's show. Love to have you as a guest on or whatever it is. So one good interview leads to 2 or 3 more, especially when you show up at your very best, and momentum starts to build. And that's where it gets very intoxicating.
It is. And I've had that happen to me where people have texted me, or they put it on my Facebook, and they'll say, I just heard you on the Carrie Doll show. You were like amazing. And I screenshot those because I want to keep track of those testimonials so that I can get on more podcasts. Right?
And so what has happened for you? I mean, listen, you're in the same boat. A year ago, you're a very compelling speaker with big stages and huge audiences. What did you do a year ago to pivot to make sure your voice was heard and that your goodness was reaching the most people?
Well, I pivoted into coaching people to become authors and best-selling authors, and I went right into that. I took probably a week on the couch because, of course, I lost everything. And in fact, one of the gigs I lost, I had just booked my flight to go to Winnipeg to speak at this school, and they canceled me the very next day. And I was like, oh, but anyways, but no, I pivoted right into that. And then I'm using podcasts and Summit as one of my major marketing methods to get my message out there and to get more clients for either speaking or coaching.
And what do you like the best about that?
Well, I'm going to be honest. 2020 has been my best year ever in business. And 2021, I think, is going to be even better than 2020. And it's all because of
what do you attribute that to? To what do you attribute that?
I attribute it because I finally decided that I was a coach. I was resisting coaching people to become authors because I just thought I didn't think I was good enough, and I didn't think that people would want to pay me the big dollars, but they do. And the more that I put it out on Facebook about what I was doing, the more people were reaching out. And that was why, even like the other day, I posted, hey, I just landed a $7,000 publishing client, just to show people that there is business out there, right? People are still spending money, right?
You know what someone told me yesterday, which I thought was novel, and she said that she's retired and is welcoming most of her income from her pension and her retirement savings, but she's still got this next chapter that she's creating, and she got a stimulus check because of the COVID-19, and she decided to invest it in one of my programs because she's excited about speaking up. And I thought, wow, not everybody is using their COVID-19 relief money to pay for groceries and housing. Some people have a little bit more discretion, and what a great time to be investing in ourselves to fund whatever the next chapter might be, because you were sort of suggesting that there was a moment there where you were checking into Pity Party Hotel before you found the courage to pivot and to create something entirely new. And now look at what's happening for you. It's so exciting, isn't it?
It is. It's really exciting. And I've spent this last year really learning even more about the virtual world. And even today, I signed up for another workshop in March to learn how to create, amazing online events, right? Because I feel like on stage, I'm incredible, but I feel in the virtual world, my keynote don't come off the same way. So I'm trying to figure out how can I be better at that. But in my coaching part, when it comes to books and publishing, are awesome. So
well, I think that's super smart, because the talking head and fanny fatigue is a real issue with Zoom these days. And I know that some of the best event planners are learning how to master Zoom rooms and breakout sessions. And I'll tell you something that would be really kind of a fun story to share about for authors. Last summer, I attended a 3-day virtual event. Mm-hmm. And in one of the virtual meeting rooms, it was all about podcast guesting and how awesome it could be. And I went into this breakout room, and the question was, what are you working on and how can I help? And I mentioned that I had been working on this manuscript for the 2020 workbook. And the guy said, have you put up a preview on the Kindle store yet? I said, that had never even occurred to me. And he said, you could create a preview of your workbook long before it's even complete to build an audience for it. And I thought, what a brilliant idea. So it was 4th of July weekend. And this is actually what happened. I went to Google and I typed in how to upload a file to the Kindle store. I got the step-by-step instructions of what to do.
Yep.
And I followed them step by step. And if you are someone who is not super technical and gets a little crazy about technology, like, hello, it's nice to meet you. Me too. Anyway, I just gave myself a gold star and a pat on the back. And I said, look at me. My workbook is on Kindle. My workbook preview is on Kindle. And that was my success.
Yeah.
So the next morning I woke up and I was just curious. So I checked out where my book was ranking on the Kindle store, and it was already gathering an audience, like it quickly, without any effort on my part. So because I have learned from the best about how to become an Amazon best-selling author, I did a couple of solo emails to my list. I posted to social media. I did some of the other little ninja strategies that I know you teach your clients or do for them. And by the end of the day, my workbook preview had achieved Amazon #1 bestseller status in 4 categories, including new releases.
Oh my
And
God, good for you. That's exciting.
and it was exciting. And if you are an author who's just struggling to get your book done, like getting the book done is like really exciting. But what happens in your body when you see that little bestseller thing show up on Amazon, like
Yeah.
it's really hard to describe how good that feels.
It is. My favorite call to make to my clients is, guess what? And they're like, what? You're a best-selling author. Oh my God, how did that happen? Well,
It's so
and
there are systems, there are methods, there are best practices, there are things that Kelly can teach you or do for you. And these are things that I have done also. But it's like if I had not gone to that breakout room in that virtual session, it never would have occurred to me that I should do that. And I did that, and that helped set the stage for me to have a brilliant book launch in September and a revenue rush of all of my products, programs, and services that really set up my 2020 to be a really great year instead of one that would be eminently forgettable.
That's so awesome, Nancy. Okay, Nancy, I know you do more than just bios. Mm-hmm. So what is the event that you've got coming up? Because I know you've got something starting on Wednesday. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, was to talk about the other stuff you're doing. So go for it.
Thank you. Well, the bio is important, of course. But in the virtual world, what's coming up is I'm leading the Broadcast Your Brilliance Bootcamp. And I've been teaching this for better than 10 years. And what's different about the Broadcast Your Brilliance Bootcamp is that in 12 weeks, I will guide you to become the podcast dream guest top host can't wait to book. And I will teach you and show you how you can book yourself on between 4 and 12 podcasts while we are in session together. And everyone in the program is going to open doors for each other so that your 4 to 12 podcasts can turn into 8 or 16 or 32 simply by the doors we open for each other. The Broadcast Your Brilliance Bootcamp is all about getting in the best shape of your life by starting with a media one sheet that opens the doors, teaching you the finesse about how to identify the right shows and make a proper approach, and how to show up like a pro at hello so that you can be brilliant in the interview and have that interview beget more interviews. And we're going to be starting on Wednesday. And if you are excited about it, a good thing to do right now is to simply download the Media One Sheet gift template that I graciously offer for free. And you can find that at getknowngetpaid.com/MOS for Media One Sheet. And if you run and don't walk to go get that, I promise you it will inspire you to upload your headshot, upload a picture of your book, upload your short blurb or bio that speaks what value you have to have on the program. And then you're going to say, how else can I work with this to make it pay off for me? And that's where the Broadcast Your Brilliance Bootcamp will come into play. So go get that goodie, and I'll follow up with you to make it easy for you to learn about all the bounty that's waiting for you should you decide that now is your time. What I would say, and I think this is kind of funny, with 1.8 million podcasts out there and more joining the air every day, it's like the wild, wild west. And today is your opportunity to stake your claim to the air that's waiting for you. And it's time to giddy up and go, because so many speaking opportunities to hundreds or potentially thousands of people are waiting for you without you even having to leave your house. And knowing how empowering that could be, why would you wait a moment longer?
I love it, Nancy. And I'm a big believer in podcasts right now. I don't have one of my own, but I am thinking about doing one for 2021. But the reason that I'm really interested in it is because, oh shoot, I lost my train of thought.
Oh, being your own. Well, let me just comment about that, and maybe it'll come back. The neat thing about being a guest on other people's podcasts is that when you choose to be on shows that have 20 or more episodes, that are actively producing, that have welcomed 5-star reviews, you are speaking on a show that has already established an audience. So every time you speak up, there are people already listening. If you're thinking you want to create your own podcast, my advice is always go ahead and start guesting to make sure that you love it, that it's fruitful, that it's productive and profitable, and that it's in your wheelhouse to do. And then once you've demonstrated and welcomed the results, the leads, the clients, the connections, the cash, then you can absolutely commit to having your own show and know that all those people that have been following you are going to come on over. But I love the idea of having embedded audiences, because what I mean, that means people are already listening. You're not talking to two people and having the responsibility of having to build that audience all by yourself. And I know a lot of authors in particular, they're more concerned about getting the book done and making a difference. But sometimes they forget that if you don't have an audience of people listening to you, it's kind of hard to get the book in the hands of people who want to buy it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the things that I suggest for my authors is to do like a podcast tour and get yourself lined up to speak on, say, 10 or 15 podcasts, before you do your launch. And then that's a great way to, like you said, tap into their audiences.
Another thing, sorry to interrupt, but neat thing about podcasts is they're searchable on Google. So if you've been on a bunch of shows, they are searchable. People can find you. And, people aren't really quick to invest $7,000 or $10,000 or $30,000 into a coaching or a mentoring program until they've gotten the opportunity to hear you and get to know you and feel your vibe and know that it's a match for who they are. And the beautiful thing about speaking up on any kind of interview is that there could be hundreds or thousands of people that are actually vetting you right now and deciding if you are the guide to take them where they want to go. And it's a lot less threatening or intimidating than a discovery call. Oh, I heard you on a podcast. I was really interested in what you had to say. I'd really like to continue that conversation one-on-one. Is a whole different feeling than getting on a discovery call.
I love it. I love it also because I don't have to plan a speech. Right? I don't have to plan like a webinar that's really structured. I love just being able to go with the flow with the podcast host. And, it's cool because every single one I do is different.
Well, and along those lines, I don't know if there's any perfectionists among your listenership who like to get everything right. And I don't know if anyone's willing to admit they're recovering perfectionists, but I'm one. I'll admit that. And I think that, we all learn certain templates about how to make an enrolling conversation, how to conduct an enrolling conversation, and how to deliver a webinar that converts, and how to do all of these things, right? But there's something about just showing up, coming as you are, and having a conversation like we're having right now that allows your own best self to show up. And that's why I always recommend to my clients, get as much practice as you can on the smaller shows so that you can get comfortable. You can have suggested questions to guide the interview and provide those to your host, but you also have to be having the presence to bend and sway with things that come out of nowhere that require a response that you didn't prepare for. And that's a skill as well. So get yourself ready to go, but also be flexible enough to go with the flow.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Okay, Nancy. So just share again what your event's all about and how they can sign up for your event.
Well, the Broadcast Your Brilliance Bootcamp starts on Wednesday, March 3rd. And we go for 12 weeks. And I know you're probably going to want to learn more about it. So the simplest and most high value way for you to get the jazz about it is to go to getknowngetpaid.com MOS to download that media one sheet gift template. And right away, you'll be redirected to the Broadcast Your Brilliance Bootcamp sales page so you can check out what's in store and decide if now is the time. The big benefit of joining right now is I am celebrating my 20th anniversary of doing business during the month of February 2020.
Good for you.
I've been in business for 20 years, and I wanted to see, well, what could I do to both celebrate this epic accomplishment? I mean, it was the Twin Towers, it was the Great Recession, it's COVID-19. I'm still here. I'm really happy about that. So I decided to discount the tuition by 20%. Everything in my shopping cart is on sale for 20% off when you use the promo code 20 years. So Broadcast Your Brilliance Bootcamp is the most eminent thing that's happening, and I will never, ever offer it at this price point ever again, or with the level of bonuses and personal support that I'm providing. So if you know that you need to be on 4 to 12 podcasts as soon as possible, and you think that I'm the guide to show you the way, please join us. And I look forward to having you on board and giving you the experience of a lifetime. You will graduate in the best shape of your life with podcast guest spots to prove, and relationships with amazing people besides.
Cool. Thank you so much, Nancy. And, you know, I really want to encourage you to take it. And the reason I do is because I actually got on a call with Nancy, and that one call ended up being like 2-3 hours. And the amount of golden nuggets that she gave me was just incredible. So I promise you, and I know Nancy will say the same thing, you will not be disappointed by taking her program. I know that because I just know how giving and caring and loving she is, and how she just wants to see people succeed. So that's so awesome. Thank you so much again, Nancy. And let's put the link in the comment box too.
Oh, sure. This is my first time doing a StreamYard, so if you
you know what? Wait till we get off, and then we can put it in that way, because if we comment here, it won't show up.
Oh, okay. When it goes, I will follow up shortly and make that happen.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you, everybody. If you have any questions, don't feel free to put them in the comment field. I know Nancy's very active on Facebook, and I know that her and I will keep up with it and make sure that you get your questions answered. So have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.
And thank you, Nancy.